Welcome to Cultura Latina. This week we're visiting the museum of one of Colombia's and Latin America's most acclaimed contemporary artists. And also we're visiting Mexico City for a taste of ballet from the National Company. Join us. Fernando Botero, or just Botero as he is known worldwide, is a Colombian artist that has gained great success by his portrayals of day-to-day characters through his talented eye. Come see. Born in 1932, renowned Colombian artist and sculptor Fernando Botero decided to donate a priceless art collection to Colombia's Bank of the Republic in 1998.
The donation was made upon certain conditions. One of the conditions was that he was the only person in charge of doing the curatorship. So everything we see here is part of his own creative work as an artist and also as a curator. Botero has become an institution worldwide. He gained international recognition around the 70s. So ever since, people have been feeling a very strong sense of pride in regards to having a Colombian artist that's being worldwide known and recognized. Well, for foreigners, it's also very interesting to see how Botero's artwork and aesthetics are very different from what they know in other parts of the world.
The bank has been developing a very strong cultural activity for the past 60 years in the country, part of which is the Botero Museum in downtown Bogota, in which over 200 different pieces of artwork are permanently displayed.
This inspiration in exploring volume is taken from a tradition of political artwork of the decade of the 30s here in Colombia. And some Colombian artists, for example, were really influenced by Mexican muralists. So Mexican muralists are artists were artists that were political, obviously, but also wanted to make references to what was going on in their countries through an exploration of voluminous figures. There's a series, for example, of different political figures and political events that took place in Colombia that are making a reference to the violence that we've been suffering for over 50 years as a product of the armed conflict in Colombia. One example is a car that was detonated or used as a bomb in order to destroy what we can see in the back would be a village. This other one speaks of a massacre that took place in a little village in Colombia. Besides violence, he also makes references to the conservative family where he was born in Medellin, so a very traditional family composed by a mother and a father and 2 kids and a pet. This painting is actually one of the most seen and asked for paintings in the museum. There's a story or narrative behind this image. We have a snake that's lurking behind the family. That refers us to the idea of the originary couple. And if we look very closely, then we will see that the husband has 2 wedding rings. And that wedding rings, refers to, this idea of saying, of cheating. This would also criticize that the perfect family does not exist. What's really interesting about his artwork is that he was sort of a revolutionary in a period where abstraction was the norm. So that's really interesting and beautiful about the passion that he felt towards volume. He never really wanted to leave that behind.
Mexico's National Dance Company was founded in 1963, and since then, they've been producing memorable dancers and performances for both national and international audiences. Enjoy!
Siento que el público estaba muy...
I
feel that the public was very integrated with what was happening on stage from the first act. They were reacting. I think it's important not to lose sight of those artists, dancers, and the public that is watching, that we are human beings and have the same language, the same feelings, the same emotions, and that we only communicate in different ways. Right now, it's like a profile of the company to try to do both classical and other movements, to not just perform the classical. But I think the strength of the company is to preserve the classics like Swan Lake, Nutcracker, Giselle, Coppelia, Raimunda, which are pieces that are very important for the classical dancers and for the public. It is our task to introduce it while growing in other ways that enriches both our public and the artists of the company.
Es nuestra labor poderla presentar, sin dejar de seguir creciendo en otros sentidos, que eso también enriquece tanto a nuestro público como a los artistas de la compañía.
Un día cotidiano depende mucho de cada bailarín.
I've been dancing since I was 9 years old. We have to practice for 9 years before becoming a professional, and there you begin your life as an apprentice until you manage to get a contract. A normal day depends on each dancer. There are dancers who arrive at 7 in the morning doing sit-ups, running, and gym, and I, for example, do Pilates in the afternoon because I love to sleep. Overall, we get along, but in the end, we are here to compete. In the end, everyone wants to be the best, and if you dance with a group, you want to dance more and better. To be able to go out on stage, you obviously are nervous. And this nerve in front of, say, 10,000 people in the National Auditorium, staring at you, watching something you practice every day for hours, it needs to be good. So you need to turn that nerve into adrenaline, which I think is one of the biggest challenges. And be consistent, because you can leave here and things get crossed in your head while on stage it is horrible. Ballet is an acquired taste, but one needs to start and see it, learn from it, and realize that there are technical difficulties other than simply enjoying it. Because the typical thing you hear about ballet is how boring, I don't want to go, or it puts me to sleep, things like that. But if you really take the time to appreciate it, you might see its other side.
Eso es lo padre del ballet, pues.
That's the beauty of ballet, to tell a story, and that the public also feels it. If I'm in the public and I see the protagonist doing something very well, it hits me and even makes me cry. I think that dance, music, art in general is like a little light inside of the ugly things that happen in our society.
You will truly come to a space of contention, and you will see that others are there to do something for you. So you can simply be, so as to forget about yourself and to simply allow yourself to enjoy through some artists that all they want to tell you is what each one needs to see.
Lo que cada quien necesita decir, ¿no?
Thanks for watching. Next week we'll be back with another amazing taste on Latin American culture. See you then.